All right, everyone, I've been teasing this for a while. I think you're gonna like this. I have a clear head. I'm back from Helen. I spent a couple days getting the garage in order. I've got 20-something subwoofers sitting over here. I wanna do a SVS Test series, not a traditional test. This is a Matty test. I'm just doing what I'm interested in. You can go and watch all kinds. There's hundreds of videos on these and specs and all of that. But what I want to do is I want to show you the subwoofer. I've been playing with these for so I played with them for several days before I left for doing the Helen house, and I played with them for the last couple of days here, just kind of listening back and forth. And so I spent a lot of time on today's video, which is the 1000, 2000, just listening, and I have, I don't know how many. I probably have 10,000 hours of listening to speakers in my lifetime, maybe more. And just not just listening like on like in a home theater environment or a stereo environment, but more like critical sitting, demoing speakers back and forth. If you're not familiar, in my past life, in my early career, when I was at Villanova as an engineering student, and then for several years after, I sold and designed home theater stuff for people, in a retail environment at Tweeter and then Sound Advice, and I would go around to different stores like Hi-Fi House and audition Wilson speakers and Meridian and listen to all kinds of stuff. So I've heard really expensive stuff, really cheap stuff, and everything in between. And so I'm hoping that there's some value to my experience on this stuff. So today's video is going to be demoing and showing subwoofers in a garage. So this is a big garage, but if it can take care of this room, it can take care of any 2-car, 3-car, 4-car garage. So we're going to do it in the garage here, which is a horrible listening environment, and we're gonna show, I think, at the end of this that it's first of all, I'm going to pick which one of these I like the most, and we're going to show that you can really have a great audio experience, a great background listening experience, not a critical listening experience, but a great background listening experience in a garage. In this case, for not a lot of money. And so I'm very interested in the progression. If you're not a big audio nut like I am, you're not going to buy, $6,000 pair of speakers and put them on the, on your cabinets. But if you do enjoy audio, I think we can get you there for, less than $1,500. Get you a nice system with a subwoofer and a pair of speakers, and then I'm going to give you some guidance on what I would do. So let me stop talking, jump right into this. Let's start talking about subwoofers. So I bought every SVS subwoofer there is, and I'm sure some other dealers have done this, but I haven't seen any videos. They're always reviewing one or two videos, or one or two subwoofers in a video. I got them all, so they're all behind me, every single one they make. And some of them I bought in different colors. And I opened them up, and I'm playing them in my garage here and testing them out. So let's start with the 1000. So I want to put it on the bench here, show you what this thing is. It's relatively light. What is the weight on this thing? Let me just see. So this is the SB-1000. SB standing for sealed, unboxed weight. So this one's 26 pounds is how much the SB-1000. So S for sealed. There's no port. This is a sealed 12-inch woofer. They rate this at 325 watts. And one of the interesting specs on the SB-1000 is that it theoretically plays down lower in the frequency range. So this one plays down, so the SB-1000 plays down to 20 hertz. Okay, the SB-2000 plays down to 19 hertz. I was looking at the versus the ported version. So you have full theoretical audible frequency response, 12-inch woofer. I mean, this is $600, $599. It's got a pretty stiff, probably butyl rubber surround, and then a polypropylene jacket. This is like what you would expect, like a nice car audio subwoofer. Reminds me like a JLW W0 or W1. Looks like a really nice, really tight car audio subwoofer that they put in a box and make it long throw for in the house. Now, I'll show you this in a minute. One of the most magical things about that I think is great about the SVS is the Bluetooth app. So when you buy the subwoofer, you want to go and you want to download the app. the SVS app. And as soon as you plug it in, like in seconds, like there's no like initialization, there's no work to try, there's no clunkiness of trying to switch and connect to the subwoofer. Shoot, I've had all 15 of them out here, however many there are. I probably should add up how many there are and stop making up numbers here. But I would just switch from one sub to the next, to the next, to the next, and this thing would instantly recognize it. So we'll show you the app here in a minute when I start hooking the subwoofers up. But the 1000, this is the amp panel on the back. I'm going to use the simple LFE input, but there is left and right, stereo input if you had some old, device you're hooking up to. But all you have to do is come into the LFE input. I'll show you on the app. Click the LFE button and it'll low pass and make sure that the subwoofer is only getting whatever frequency you choose. I generally choose 80 hertz below, which will complement these PSB speakers nicely. This, they say, is 325 watts. I mean, they give you a peak spec, 820 plus watts peak. I mean, you see what they're doing here. They're creating tiers. It's like BMW, 1 series, 2 series, 3 series, 4 series, 5 series, and they put bigger engines as you go up the scale, as you go up the dollar number, or go up the size of the car. Same thing with subwoofers, as the amplifiers and the woofers kind of go up as you go up the scale in money. And what we're going to discuss a lot here. I mean, obviously you'd want to buy the PB-16 Ultra, the ported 16-inch subwoofer for whatever it is, $2,600. You'd want to buy that one. If you have the space, you have the money, do that. But the bigger question is, what if you don't, or what if you don't value audio that much? What would you do? I mean, you're not going to buy a $500 pair of speakers and a $500 amplifier and then buy a $2,500 subwoofer. At least most people aren't. And so I think what we're trying to answer here, especially in this video, is if I was going to buy, these are my favorite cheap speakers, these PSBs, what subwoofer would I need for that application? Where do I draw the line? So I'm going to share my thoughts on that. So really the line level or speaker level inputs, or I guess low level inputs, these are the line level, these are the speaker level inputs. The low level inputs, we're not going to use those, but you could, if you wanted to, if you had an integrated amplifier without a subwoofer output or any sort of pre-out, you could run the left and right speaker wire out of the preamp into the subwoofer, out of the subwoofer into the speaker, and then you're going to use the low pass filter, I guess the high pass filter in this to send the audio to your, to send the speaker level signal, the amplified signal to your speakers. We're not going to do that. We're just going to hook it up with a power cord, and we're going to hook it up with a single LFE cable. So let's do the sealed first, and the obvious advantage of the sealed is it's small, compact. If you don't have a lot of room, you don't have a lot of money. This is a veneered finish. You can see the veneer seam on the bottom, but it's a nice, it's a black ash, but so basically this is like a wrap. Like I think of a veneered wrap, a glued on wrap on an MDF box. And then they have some little rubberized feet on here that you want to make sure are tightened down, but really pretty simple deal. What did I say? It was 20 something pounds, so I'm able to kind of hold it and maneuver around. So lightweight, simple, easy thing to put in your garage or your home theater or your stereo setup, wherever you want. So let's talk about how I have this system set up here. So I'm cheating. I had a C388 open box. So this is a digital to analog converter, a DAC. So this is a DAC amplifier. So think of it, it's like this is basically like a stereo. We wouldn't call it a receiver, we call it a DAC, because it doesn't have a ton of switchable inputs, doesn't handle any video. This is just a stereo audio amplifier. I'm cheating here because, the reason I say I'm cheating is this is doing 150 watts per channel, Class D, super clean, this hybrid digital amplifier. Now, the quality of this isn't going to affect the quality output of the subwoofer. Very little. I guess maybe the internal circuitry could be a little bit better than something cheaper. But I had one of these that was open, and so I just got it out of the box and set it up here. So this is our reference source. So what I'm going to play to you, and you're going to be listening over my microphone, my lav mic. It's a fancy mic, but you're not going to get the full, and you're going to be listening through YouTube compression on your computer speakers or on your cell phone speaker, or on your TV speakers. So you're not going to get the full effect. So I'm going to kind of share with you my thoughts. But I'm going to be connecting via Bluetooth some not duty free, we're not traveling here, what's it called, copyright free music, so that and I haven't spent a lot of time listening to this copyright-free music, so we're not getting high-res, 192 kilohertz, 24-bit audio from this fancy thing to the subwoofer, but we'll get the idea here, Bluetooth over the airwaves here into the NAD source. And then what I want to know, so these are PSB P5s. The P3s are $299 a pair. These are $499 a pair, $500. So this is a single 5-inch woofer, single 3/4-inch tweeter. It's a ferrofluid cooled aluminum dome tweeter. I'll get into the SVS stuff. I don't have any time with the SVS bookshelves. The SVSs are a traditional aluminum dome, so I'm thinking I probably won't love them. These darn PSBs are a modern marvel. They are super cheap feeling, but super high-end sounding. And so right now, this is my entry-level preference in a garage, is to do an integrated amplifier of some sort. Probably not a $2,000 one, but something like a Blue Sound Power Node. They make an amplifier version of this guy here, the Node, or we'll do something simple. I'm kind of excited that SVS is supposedly coming out with a new version, or a competitor to the Blue Sound Power Node, which would be a lot less money than the Power Node, so that could be a good candidate. But we're doing the PSB P5s, and I have a speaker wire setup. So just look how simple this system is. I set this up in 3 minutes. So I'm going to take my subwoofer, I'm going to plug it in. Let me get the 2000 out of the way here. My subwoofer out of the way. Take this puppy, put it in place. I have a power cord. Now, you'd want to run the power cord behind the wall, but I just plugged it in here real quickly. The 1000s, the PB-1000 and the SB-1000 use like a cable box power cord, crappy little 2-prong power cord. They're able to do that because this is not a super powerful amplifier. When you go to the 2000 series, they go to a traditional 3-prong, plug like you'd see on most audio equipment. And then the other thing I have run is an SVS subwoofer cable. The SVS cables are actually really nice. We'll probably start carrying this as well. But I'm doing this in a wired fashion. We'll make a separate video of wireless stuff coming up here in the future. So I'll talk about how you could set this up wirelessly. That'll be in a separate video. But just for our listening purposes for this video, I'm going to plug into the LFE input. So let me turn this around and show you. LFE input and power, and that's it. Thing powers up in 2 seconds. I'm not going to mess with any of the stuff on the back, but you adjust volume, things like that. I'm going to use the app. So again, my suggestion to you is you download the app and you never even have to touch the subwoofer. You can tuck it into like a cabinet or get it out of the way and put it wherever you want. Let's leave the grill off. The grill is a traditional plastic grill. SVS has spent a lot of time, I'm sure, in developing this so it doesn't vibrate, doesn't break, doesn't pop off. I find their grills to be really, they seem, inexpensive, but they seem to be really well engineered. And so when you put this on, you can see the grills on all these speakers. You're not going to get any vibration or anything like that from an SVS subwoofer, I can promise you that. So we got $600 subwoofer, $500 speakers. So help me with the math there, $1,100, right? We've got, you'll have let's say $10 in speaker wires. You'll have 40 or 30 bucks in subwoofer cable. So let's say another 50 bucks. So you're $1,150, and then you need some sort of source unit, some sort of an old receiver, a new receiver, a DAC like the NAD, so whatever that costs. So this system is going to be, let's say $1,700, or up, give or take, depending on how you do that, how you set that up. So let's just listen to some music, and I'll share with you my observations. I guess before we get going, let me show you the app. So I have the SVS app right here on my home screen. Just download it from the App Store. And then I'm actually connected to the 2000. And so watch how awesome this is. Click. The 1000 already there. Switch over to the 1000. Let's hope it doesn't make a liar out of me. Now I'm controlling the 1000. I find that listening, depending on how much you want to blend the subwoofer, listening at -10 dB seems to be a good volume number for the garage here. And what I'm going to do is just check, make sure that you have your low pass filter set. I have the low pass filter set on the NAD, but just in case. And then I'm going to run my frequency response, my low pass filter with a 12 dB slope. That's how quickly it drops off or cuts off the wave. And so I'm running, I'm going to run this at 80 hertz down. So the subwoofer's going to play down to 80 hertz. The speakers are going to play, or the subwoofer's going to play up to 80 hertz, 20 hertz to 80 hertz, and the speakers are going to play from 80 hertz up to 22,000 kilohertz or 20,000 kilohertz, the audible range. So. It's almost criminal how freaking good these $500 PSPs are. I mean, at times I'm like, why do I have these Dynaudio monsters that cost a fortune? I mean, I'm telling you, if you don't value audio, but you'd like to have some cool audio in your garage, you don't want to spend a lot of money, get the PSPs. Any of you have the PSPs, what we're trying to answer here is what subwoofer would you buy? And like I said, we'll cover the SVS bookshelves in the future. So I just told you I've listened to, I don't know how many thousands of speakers. It's just baffles me how good this setup is. This little, excuse me, but this little crappy subwoofer and these crappy speakers. I mean, it's pretty remarkably good. All right, so I'm going to cheat here in the video a little bit. I've listened to these like for hours now, and so I just wanted to play it so we can put this video together. But let's grab the PB-1000. Let's talk about that, and then we'll play the PB. And I'll share my thoughts, the difference between ported and sealed here. But let's put that one on the bench and show you what's up with that. So for reference, size difference. So you're 26 pounds, and you're 42 pounds. So much bigger, much heavier, and you'll see the difference. The only difference between these two is the enclosure. It's the same woofer, so it's got the same woofer design, the same surround, same thing. Just take this woofer and put it in a bigger box, and you have the two, front firing ports. Same amplifier, same 325 watts with 820 watts peak, same grill design, same logos, same everything with the exception of this larger box. The larger box adds more weight, and the larger box allows it to play down lower, and then theoretically have slightly more amplitude or output. I guess theoretically it doesn't have more output, but in practice it sounds like it has more output. There is another difference that the PB only comes in this finish, or you can get this in gloss black or gloss white. If you're doing anything in the garage, and even most home theaters, the gloss stuff, it's just the scratch machine, because it gets dusty all the time. You just wipe it off, and what you could do if you're a detailer, you could put a wax on it or sealant or coating, and then you use a waterless wash on it when you clean it. But your significant other comes and wipes the thing and scratches it all up all the time, especially if you're in your garage, you got bugs and stuff that die and lay on top of it. I think that this veneered, this kind of whatever they call this black ash, premium black ash is what they call it. Just get this finish for the garage would be my recommendation. Okay, let's put this one in place. Now I'm thinking, most garages, you're going to take and you're going to put your subwoofer right next to the cabinet. So I haven't done any placement or any strategic setup here. Just put it in that spot, and it seems to work pretty well. So let's switch our subwoofer. There it is, PB-1000, already there. Boom, connected. Got our low pass filter on. Go back to the home screen. I'm minus 10 dB, same volume. Let's play those same songs again here. Thing's $800. So, especially in a big room like this, there's a pretty remarkable difference between the ported and the sealed. I don't detect, after having listened to this quite a bit, I don't detect a whole lot of difference in tightness. A lot of times in the old days we talked about you do sealed enclosure if you want tight bass and ported if you want more bass. I don't detect any of that. The amplifier seems to be doing a good job of keeping up with the driver. The biggest difference to me that I noticed on the ported versus the sealeds, I can tell, if I'm sitting here and if I close my eyes, the sealed, I can tell where it is. The ported subwoofer seems to fill the room more and feels or seems, at least in this setup, the way I have it set up here, less directional. And so I get more, I guess you could say more volume, not louder, but more volume of air seems to be moving, which means I seem to get more volume of bass. But I get the same, it's the same sound, they sound the same. I don't get any detection of boominess or tautness or anything like that. I think the SB-1000, the PB-1000 are tuned very similarly. They sound identical with the exception of the ported is giving me more, again, not loudness, but volume. It fills the room more. And so I think if you can choose if you have an option and you have the room and you have the money, so you're $200 more, $599 versus $799. I think you buy the 1000, the PB-1000, the ported version, because the ported just fills up this room more. I wish you were here to hear this. It's so good. So, electronic music, EDM, rap, stuff where you have, synthetic bass, ported is going to do, I think, can do much, much better at filling up the room. If you like bass heavy, ported is going to do better for you. So to me, it really comes down to price and size. If I don't have the space, if I don't have the money, then I'm going to choose the SB-1000 over the PB. Now, from what I understand, in talking with Ken, VP of Sales for all of SVS North America, I think he told me, I think I heard this right, that they sell a considerable amount more SBs. So the sealed is much more popular than the ported, of it tuned to some ridiculous number. I don't know if it was 10 to 1 or 3 to 1 or 8 to 1, but it was a large percentage they sell of the SBs over the PBs. I think, you know, if you're for my, you know, if I'm voting with your wallet on $200, having spent A/B'd them back and forth over and over again, you know, I'm shortcutting it for this video. I'm choosing the ported, especially the bigger the garage, the better the port is going to perform in this particular environment. So now the question is, you know, where do I draw the line? Do I go up to the 2000 series? So let's grab the SB-2000 and take a look at that. So SB-1000, SB-2000, both sealed, both similar finishes. The grill is just bigger. You can see the enclosure is a little bigger. I wonder what the weight difference is. So this one was 26 pounds. So SB-2000 doesn't come in white, only comes in black ash and gloss black, where this one, the 1000, you can get in white. Same 12-inch woofer. Now, here's the question. Are the woofers the same? So they're rating this at 325, rating this as 550 watts with a 1500 peak versus an 825 peak. 38 pounds, so it's 12 pounds heavier. You know, 38.6 pounds versus 26 pounds. So that's what I wonder, is the magnet, they call it a 12-inch front firing high excursion SVS driver, but is the driver the same on the 2000 and the 1000? It looks like it's the same, but we're going to find that out. I'm going to take it apart. I'd also like to take a peek at the amplifier. I hope I don't get in trouble with SVS for that. I'm going to avoid my own warranties. I think it's worth it. So if we take a look at the amplifier construction on the back, difference. It's the same story with the PB. So the PBs on both the 2000 and 1000 use the same amplifiers. So you can see the amplifier construction is different. It's bigger amp. This sledge, for this version of the sleds, they call an STA 550 versus an STA 325. So clearly different amplifiers. 3-prong plug, 2-prong plug. Both have on-off. The on-off switch is different. But you have the same kind of line level inputs. They get rid of the speaker level input. There's no way to do that. Be interested to see if I can pull it apart and look in there. Let's see what it looks like. But I want to listen to them first before I potentially ruin it. So let's play this one. I'll share my thoughts. Yeah. By the way, this is like a darn lifelong dream to be able to do this kind of stuff. I need you guys to buy lots and lots of subwoofers so that way I could build. I want to build a garage just set up for demoing speakers. How cool would that be? Just have a separate garage where that's my spec room. That's where I test out speakers. The other thing I failed to mention was the price. So SB-1000 was $599. The PB-1000 Pro, they're both Pro. I think they switched to Pro when they changed the driver, and they probably changed the amplifier. So the SB $599, PB-1000 $799, SB-2000 $899. So this is $100 more with more amplification. We're going to pull the woofer out and determine if it's different, but theoretically just a sealed enclosure with a bigger amplifier, slightly bigger sealed enclosure for maybe the higher excursion they expect from the more amplification, but you're $100 more than a PB-1000. So the question is, what's the difference? What are these? It's a dumb question. I already know the answer to it, but we'll get into that in a minute.
I think I would care, but you left me wanting more, and then my feelings were there. You took me by surprise when you got my eye, like we never fight about who was right, but I keep denying your ways.
Did I say these? I'm going to get in trouble with SVS. These PSB speakers are so good. In fairness, the PSB subwoofers I hated, so I punted all of those. So, you know, my MO here is to curate. I want to find the best product for the dollar. I'm sure maybe there's better, these subwoofers in this price range in the world, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find them. Somebody has to make a decision what to buy. But this combo here, I'm putting these two guys together. I hope I don't get in trouble with PSB or SVS, but hey, take the best in class and put them together, and then I'm using NAD amplification. This is pretty awesome.
Stop fighting again and again and again.
Here's the skinny on 1000 versus 2000 from Matt Moorman's vantage point, from my ears. My ears to your camera here, my camera, your computer. The PB stuff is muddier. It's not as clean, it's not as tight. The PB stuff sounds like I bolted a subwoofer onto my system. The SB sounds like I put a system together, if that makes sense. So I am getting a bit more directionality out of the sealed enclosure. I feel like it's not filling the room as much as even the PB-1000, because that's going to be a big conundrum. Do you buy the tauter, better quality amplification, the cleaner SB-1000 for $100 more, or do I buy the ported, fill the room better PB-1000? And so there's no question to me, the $900 you're paying to get the 2000 series I can physically feel it, I can audibly hear it. It's just different. It's a different subwoofer. Same kind of SVS sound signature if you can have one with a subwoofer. It's filling the room, it's hitting me in the chest, but it feels like, without even doing any tuning or any EQ or any parametric EQ or adjusting, I'm just running flat, out of the box, Bluetooth audio from my computer to, these are just wave files that are probably, 240 kilobits per second or something like that. There's a very clear audible difference that subwoofer has more power and it's less muddy. Now, in fairness to the 1000, for the price, for the money, that muddiness, you all know it's there. So the only reason I know it's there is because I just A/B'd it. So now let's pull the 2000, the PB-2000 up, which you can see the size difference between the 1000 and the 2000 there. It's pretty substantial. Do I have the room for a PB-2000, and what do we hear when we put that in place? Let's put that on the bench, take a look at it, and then we'll hook it up. So PB-2000 is $1,100, plays down to the same 17 hertz as the SB-1000. By the way, backtracking here, there's a lot of specs to throw at you. I don't think any of this really matters. SB-1000 plays down to 20 hertz. SB-2000, so the sealeds, the SB-2000 plays down to 19 hertz according to their specs. So 1 hertz difference, negligible. Cleaner, tauter, let's call it, I'm going to make up this term, it integrates into the system better. It works better with the speakers. It doesn't sound like I have a subwoofer bolted on versus the 1000 sounds like I bolted a nice subwoofer onto a pair of speakers. It's just, even same thing with the PB-1000, when the big difference between the 2000 sealed is that I get that, tauter, less muddy, more integrated bass. Now this sucker's giant, so our frequency response on this is down to 16 hertz. Let's see, let me go back to the 1000. PB-1000, yeah, 17 hertz. So it plays, you get 1 hertz of frequency response addition, but you're spending $1,100 on this puppy, so you got to spend more money to get into this. Now you're getting into like real subwoofer territory where there's lots and lots of choice, lots and lots of other subwoofers like this, where you have a lot of $1,000 plus subwoofers out there on the market. Yeah, so this is 65 pounds. 65 pounds versus 40, so it's 20 pounds more than the 1000. So let me get the
I've never felt
Same story. More volume. It fills the room better. The subwoofer directionality is better. The subwoofer disappears more. So even with the better sort of integration of the SB-2000 into the system, the ported, I think, takes it another level. Even with music, people talk about you don't want ported for music. I don't think that matters at all, especially when we're dealing with a garage where you're doing a lot of background listening anyway. So I think that if you can swing it, if you can spend the extra money, the extra $200, get the ported in both 1000 and 2000. If you can fit it, if you can spend it, then you get it. Get the, make that a term, SVS term. If you can fit it, you can spend it, get it. I like that. So I'm really curious. I'm gonna get in trouble and take these woofers out of the box. Let's see what they look like. This is like a mystery I'm about to solve. Okay, we got a little polyfill. They're denoted negative, positive, so I ought to be able to pull these off. Oh, and they're pretty tight. So I wonder if I can just set it here. I don't want to break that. There we go. So there's what the woofer looks like. Dual stacked magnets. Traditional voice coil design with a spider. So you have some polyfill, and then that's your Sledge 325 amp in there. Doesn't tell me much until I look at the comparison, which would be the 2000. All right, let's take this one off and see what this looks like. Just look at the difference in screws. These are flat versus a wood screw. Now, I'm almost certain that the woofer is the same from SB to PB. I mean, this is a different material, so this is definitely a different driver. Oh yeah, awesome. Considerably more circuitry, several more capacitors. What is this thing? Is this the transfer? This is definitely a different woofer. So if you take a look at the magnet on that versus the magnet on that, considerably heavier. Different model numbers. So to me, that definitely tells me, the money difference. I think it's worth it. I mean, they call it a 12-inch SVS SB-1000 Pro driver, so the 1000 driver versus the 2000 driver, and they show a breakdown picture of it. See, it's hard to tell because the picture does look different. Yeah, so I guess you could definitely tell if you read through all the nomenclature. Man, I'm telling you, I think that 2000, having listened to the 3000 as well, which I think doesn't really apply to this level of a system, but I think that the 2000 to me is the subwoofer of choice. And then it's just size and money. If you can spend the money, get the ported. If you can deal with the size, get the ported. So you have to have those two factors and fit into the equation. All right, let me put these back together and we'll conclude this video. So here's my conclusion. If we're talking entry level, I don't think you go up to the 3000s, the bigger speakers. I don't even think you do the micro. The micro, I'll make a separate video on that subwoofer, which is dual 8-inch woofers. But we have, the sealed versus ported conundrum, and then we have the dollar conundrum. I think those are the two things you have to answer for yourself. For me, if I'm picking a subwoofer out of this bunch, and I don't think it's just money, I'm gonna pick, especially after pulling the driver out and seeing that the 2000 does have a different woofer, not just a more stout amplifier, You can tell by the plug, you can tell by just the weight of it, but having pulled out the driver and seeing the difference in the drivers, I think that and then of course the sound of the 2000 is, I think, worth every penny. My wager is, now I haven't spent as much AB back on the 2000 versus the 3000. I think I'm going to choose the 2000 over the 3000, but in this case, if you just need a nice entry-level subwoofer and size and money is going to drive your decision, you buy the 1000. I don't think you'll be disappointed in it. You $600, put it with a pair of $500 speakers, get yourself grab an old amplifier you had laying around, an old home theater amp, or get yourself a Blue Sound Power Node or something like that, or the new SVS thing that when that comes out, you got yourself a nice system under $2,000 that will really do extremely well. But if you have a few more bucks to put together and you have the space, I think that the hearing, the tautness, the integration, the sort of disappearance of the subwoofer, the fact that the subwoofer feels like it's fitting into the system versus, I've said this 3 times now, the 1000 feels like I'm bolting on a subwoofer into my stereo, whereas the 2000 feels like I have a system that I bought together. The 2000 series is really worth it. And then it just comes down to size and money again. So, you would think, after having spent the time, and if you just went on the website, on the SVS site, you could have made this prediction from the start of the video. Buy the biggest, most expensive one in this particular test. But I will tell you, unless you had the two side by side, you were A-Bing them, I certainly don't think you'll be disappointed with the sealed enclosure. If you just don't want to take up the space, again, if you can swing it, if you can swing the extra few $100, $899 versus $599, the extra $300, I think there's more than $300 worth of money in the 2000 series versus the 1000. So, but these are my subwoofer of choice. If I'm going to buy a pair of PSP speakers, I'm going to buy a pair of SVS bookshelves. This is what I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose one of these sort of entry-level subwoofers over pretty much anything else. I think this is the way to go, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you'll be actually very, very pleasantly surprised and really happy with your purchase. Whether you're buying this for your home theater, you're buying this for your audio system at your desk, you're buying it for your garage setup like I'm recommending here, I appreciate you. If you appreciate this video, I appreciate you honoring the source and supporting me and supporting what we're doing here at Obsessed Garage. My only ask is that we'll have some discounted shipping on these, but I'd ask that you pay for shipping, and we'll help you put these systems together. If you have any questions, hit up support@obsessedgarage.com. You can always email me, Matt@obsessedgarage.com, if you want some more take on it. But yeah, I think this is a very clear conclusion that the 2000 is worth it, and a little foreshadowing, I'm actually going to prefer the 2000 over the 3000, size, weight, dollar number. I just don't think the 3000 is worth the upgrade that it is from 1 to 2. You just don't hear as much of a difference, but this test hopefully is helpful to you in making your decision on your garage audio system or your home theater. Thanks for watching. Next video will be 2000 versus 3000, doing a little better pair of bookshelf speakers, if you can get better, and a little bit better systems. We'll go to the next tier. We'll also be doing a video series on, or a video, not a series, but a video on the big boys, the 4000 and the Ultra, which I'm probably not going to carry those. Doesn't really apply. They'll be more special order. We'll also be doing the trash cans, the PC versions of the subwoofers. We'll be talking about how I think those fit. We'll be talking about wireless and how to set these up wirelessly. And then I'll also be doing a studio monitor video. I'll choose which subwoofers fit, say like LYD Dynaudio studio monitors or cores, and talking about that. And then in the future, we'll integrate these into some home theaters and give you my take on that if you find value in it. So thanks for watching. Join us on Tuesday night. I believe it's 8 p.m., depending on when you're watching this video. Tuesday, August 2nd, we're going to be having a private audio sale, where I demo some stuff like old school Sound Advice days. I'm going to demo some studio monitor setups with some of these subwoofers and talk to you about how to put together a system for your garage or for your stereo setup in your house. So make sure to check that out. That video will be live streamed. If you missed the live stream, it'll be up on the channel as a watch pre-recorded as well. So anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you on the next video.